Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing another video for you. I'm going to be focusing on Loni Love. For those of you that are not aware of who she is a talk show host on the show The Real. It's a daytime series, I believe, and along with some other co-stars. She's one of the hosts though, and she's a comedian, and she's done a lot of things, you know, in her career. Now, there's been a lot of scandal regarding Miss Loni Love because the tea is allegedly, again, that she made some comments, and I don't think that was alleged. It was like that there was not, if I'm not mistaken, that there was not like a real representation of black plus size models in the industry, and so that comment got her into deep water with all the plus size models or plus size women, and also plus size models. And then she went on to block a very famous model, which is, I believe, Larissa. She's a gorgeous plus size supermodel. She's African American, and she's gorgeous, and she's got it going on. And I feel like Loni had some issues there. So I'm going to be giving you the tea here from Spirit about this situation, what I see just for Loni going forward. So this is a psychic reading on Loni Love, okay? So everybody these days seems to be going to Twitter. Shoot, I need to go to Twitter and get part of this drama. I need to start tweeting. It's funny because I see that a lot of these celebrities are going to Twitter. I've never have found Twitter or Snapchat to be my cup of tea. I don't know, some of you look at Twitter or find it, you know, it's fun, but to me it's just like, who wants to be on a platform where you just, you know, you can post a link or pictures or just a few words, you know, it limits you. But anyways, the tea is here. Let me give you the backstory of what was said here, if I can find it. I was on it. She says Aretha Franklin, quote unquote, had never had a plus size fashion line. Queen Latifah was a cover girl, but not affiliated with a plus size fashion brand. It's 2019, and you pulled sisters from 20 years ago. I said icons. Where is Naomi Campbell? Okay, first of all, Naomi Campbell is not a plus size supermodel, okay? Even though she is African American, she was. And I'm funny that she didn't even mention Tyra Banks, because even though Tyra Banks is not considered plus size for modeling, she was always the thick, curvy girl. You know, she was never a super thin, petite, you know, type of model, or very anorexic looking, you know. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean, like, you know what I mean, like the stigma that some of these supermodels have where they're just starving themselves, etc. So she got herself into a lot of heat. And then Hello Beautiful commented and said, according to Loni Love, there's no plus size icons for me, but what about Aretha Franklin, Oprah Winfrey, Queen Latifah? Thoughts, ladies? And then Larissa Cross, if I'm not mistaken, that's her name, she got into the whole thing, and somebody called her out, and they said Larissa is black, and she is not iconic because what exactly? Based on your standards, seriously asking, because I don't know what you deem as iconic. So yeah, that's how she responded, and it's crazy. So after her and Larissa Cross got into a lot of chitter chatter back and forth on Twitter, she ended up blocking Larissa Cross. I guess the tea was too hot, etc. And then somebody else that commented said, I'm speechless just because she is not aware of you, meaning Larissa, and others, does not mean that you have not been working your gorgeous tush off for years. I'm shocked at the block. Loni was enlightened. Well, the real tea is, because later on I read this article about this whole situation, it turns out that there was photos where they actually show Queen Latifah. I can't see where it's at, but anyways, it was Queen Latifah on Lane Bryant. So there was a representation. Like Queen Latifah did at one time, if I'm not mistaken, did something with Lane Bryant, which would be modeling, you know, for them. There was some kind of photo shoot that they did together or whatnot. So that's the tea. That is what's going on. Now, the real question here, I think that a lot of us would be asking each other. Let me just fix my camera here. Sorry. Okay, that's better. The real tea that everybody is asking themselves at this point is, Loni, is this all made up? I mean, how could a woman that's almost, I don't know, she's in her 50s or something, not know about the entertainment, who's in the entertainment industry, who's in, you know, the black community that is a supermodel or that has done that kind of work? Like, I just find that very hard to believe that she wouldn't. And I mean, this is coming from someone that is plus size herself. Like, Loni is not the thinnest girl, you know, so for her to kind of say this, I think it's caused a lot of commotion and stirred the pot. She stirred the pot in many ways. Deep down, I feel like she's one of those people that said something to cause shock value. Was this contrived? Not necessarily, but I feel like it would have created some more ratings for the real, you know, the show. And also, not only that, but it keeps her name in the spotlight, you know, even a scandal. Like they say in the celebrity world, it doesn't matter what kind of, you know, article or news that you're put in, it's still publicity in some ways. Loni is very smart, don't get her wrong. I do feel like, though, the comments were unnecessary, and, you know, she should definitely, you know, I feel like going forward, she's going to lose a lot of supporters, you know, because of the fact that she made these comments. Yes, she is entitled to her opinion, but when you are a public figure and you are making statements like that, it shows kind of ignorance, you know. I feel the same way about guys in the plus size community, big and tall men, you know, specifically myself. You know, I feel like there's no representation when it comes to us in certain designers, like, you know, the name brands like Gucci, like, you know, Louis Vuitton, and all these other name brands. You don't see in the luxury name brands, or the semi, you know, well-known like Calvin Klein. You don't see a lot of these designers tailoring for plus size male models, you know, or have male models and that are plus size in their campaign, with the exception of ASOS, which is my favorite store. If you're a guy or a woman and you're plus size, you can probably find everything that you need on ASOS, and then some. But, you know, I think it's kind of ridiculous that she made those statements, but I feel like, you know, it was just in the heat of the moment. She didn't really think about it. You know, so I'm going to give you the tea on what I see for Loni coming up. The first thing that I see is, like, this is not going to go away anytime soon. I feel like she's going to continue to make half scandals. And she is going to, you know, I feel like the network at some point is asking themselves, is she a liability? Because of the fact that she made these statements, they could potentially lose a lot of followers. So when someone is involved in the scandal, even though they may have clauses in their contract and stuff, there is a potential for them to possibly, you know, lose the contract, or the contract can be not be renegotiated. So we'll have to see how this all plays out, but I feel like she's in a dark place right now, even though she may be carrying on like with her day-to-day functions, but a lot of people are not holding her into a good regard right now. I also feel like Loni is under spiritual attack, meaning that if she starts having nightmares or having things falling apart and jewelry breaking, things breaking, which I'm not finding any of this hilarious or funny, but I'm just laughing because that is what I am seeing. I'm being revealed from spirit that there is a possibly psychic attack, and her feeling very kind of shielded and kind of more reserved. I feel like there's a lot of the girls on the show that don't necessarily share or agree with her opinion, and they're like, well, why should we come down for what she said? You know, why should we be held responsible? So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Let me just adjust my camera a little bit more. There we go. But yeah, I feel like, you know, this is not a good look on Loni, and I see her walking away from an opportunity, or possibly walking away from the show at some point. Now, how soon that this happens, it could be within the next year to 2 years, or a little bit further, but I feel like, you know, I feel like the momentum is coming, like that moment where we will just hear her say, you know, guys, I've decided to move on from this, and it's going to be because of the scandals. I feel like she's pretty scandalous, and she's going to continue to piss off people and say things, you know, even though she is you know, at an age where typically older people, and I'm not, you know, trying to use that in a bad way, but you know, when you get to a certain age, you feel more free to kind of say the things that you have on your mind, but sometimes they may not come across as good, you know. And so for her, I feel like that is going on. There is also some questions around her relationship, who she's with right now. It's my understanding that she does have a partner. Now, I could be mistaken, but I see that there's something going on in that relationship as well, which will come out in the tabloids at some point. I feel like her relationship is not the perfect relationship, and I see her eventually looking for love somewhere else. So that is the tea, honey. That is very scandalous for Miss Loni Love. And so I don't know what's going on, but the guy that I see is someone I feel like could possibly be Caucasian. I don't know why. I don't know who, or maybe he's just light-skinned, you know, and mixed. I don't know, but I see somebody else for Loni down the road. And I also feel like her finances, she is going to be having trouble, you know, with her finances down the road. If she hasn't already, this could be like her wanting to, you know, any work project or any kind of job offer that she's being given, that, you know, she wants a certain pay for it, or her agent, however it goes through negotiating, and it's not going to be exactly what she would want, you know, salary wise or pay wise. She is going to be coming out of this, though, you know, this period of people judging her for what she said, etc. But it is going to be still something that they will always bring up on her from here on forward. You know, it's the worst thing that she could have ever said. I see falling out with her, between her and some other females. This could be the other co-hosts on the show, you know, the other hosts. But there is some kind of big scandal among them that is going to surface among the ladies on the reel, and I feel like it's going to be shocking. Not everyone likes Loni, even though it may appear that they're cordial on TV. Not everybody likes Loni, trust me. She is not everyone's cup of tea on that show, and those girls, you know. So there's a couple of them that already have had it with her, and I see them going and complaining to the producers, and complaining, or among themselves. Somehow it's going to get to the producers. It's going to get there, and I see her kind of feeling like betrayed by people, you know, that she works with. She has this mentality that, you know, if you don't agree with her, then you are coming for her. And it's a sensitive, unhealed side of Loni that she does need help on. You know, on a spiritual level, she does need to heal that part of her soul. Because until homegirl, you know, gets that situated and gets that fixed, she's going to continue to lash out on people or take it personal when people are just trying to, you know, get her to see that the comments that she's making are very ignorant and very misinformed. You know, they're not coming from a place of information, and it's like a disservice, you know, especially if she's going to be involved in a fashion line or whatever, you know, or whoever it is, whoever on her team, you know, it's not going to be successful because people have already heard you speak some ignorance. So this is not a good look for Loni, and that's why I feel like there is some financial loss here, and there is a potential for her to walk away for a period of time, you know, and she needs time to do damage control. And I honestly feel like she burned some bridges with what she said, you know. And I personally cannot believe that she would say something like that, because again, this is coming from a thick girl, you know, someone like, you know, that we have now. Like, I look up to Lizzo, even though I'm a guy and she is a female, you know, but she's one of the thick girls out there. Thick lies save lives, yes. And so I look up to my girl Lizzo. I love her. I love her energy and her album, and I'm just so proud of how far she's come in representation for, you know, a certain proportion of us in the world that are not stick figure or physically, you know, washboard abs and everything. I feel like she has embraced her femininity and also her curves, and just loves her body, and it's about body positivity. Somebody else who I really admire is Sam Smith, for, you know, him going through his weight struggles. Now he kind of feels very comfortable and embraces his own body, and it's body positivity. And I think we're entering, I actually do feel like we're entering into a phase where it's going to start, we're going to start seeing over the next couple of years thick people being more represented in the industry and having more of a voice, because like people like Melissa McCarthy, Lizzo, you know, and it goes on, Queen Latifah, even though Queen Latifah has lost a lot of weight, Adele was you know, a pretty curvy girl, she was a thick girl, and then she lost all this kind of weight. I feel like we're going to see a lot of more of that in the industry, and more acceptance of people who have curves. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you are unhealthy. I think a lot of people have played that in society and have, you know, labeled us because you're obese or you're overweight that you are necessarily unhealthy, when there are a lot of people that are our size that are healthy, and then there's some of us that are not healthy, you know, that we do have conditions. I mean, everything comes with a risk. This is what I want to leave for a lot of you that are listening to this. You can be stick thin and still have diabetes. You can be stick thin and still have heart attacks or strokes. It does not, I think science has done a disservice, and the medical field has done a disservice to people, labeling, you know, that, or associating obesity to the fact that you can be, you know, you're more prone. Yes, there may be some truth in that, that you're maybe more prone in the future, but for the most part, I think it's very, you know, it hurts people, even though, you know, we have feelings too. Just because we're fluffy or we're, you know, overweight or obese, we still have feelings. And I speak on behalf of all the men and women who are my race of light, or people that are newly tuning in that are plus size, like I am. You know, I'm not a thin guy. I've never been a thin guy, and I don't feel like I'll ever be super thin. I will get to a weight where I feel very comfortable and, you know, and I'm healthier. But, you know, I speak on behalf. So Loni has a lot of you know, obstacles in her way, but I feel like she can overcome this if she changes. But I see like a lot of culmination of different events for her from 2020 moving forward, where we're going to see a lot of scandals. And again, I feel like she may be feeling a little bit, you know, like when people, I don't know, shape up or ship out, you know, you hear that in management terms, like when you're working for a company and a lot of supervisors or employers will try to make the employees feel very comfortable, so they kind of leave willingly without having to fire them. I feel like this is the energy that surrounds Loni. Like from this point forward, you know, it's going to be very, she's going to be receiving it from every angle, letting, you know, the hate comments, people judging her for what she said. This is not something that can be taken very seriously, because again, she is a celebrity. She is someone that is in the spotlight, and when you make comments like this, you know, it influences younger generations and people, and it promotes almost like this sense of not embracing your tribe, you know, the people that came before you or that after you, you know, that represent the masses. Like the average person is not, you know, super thin. We have a lot of people and a lot of representation in the plus size world, but we need more of it, because it's only in select, like the females, I think like a lot of women have more representation nowadays than a lot of the males do. We don't see a lot of male plus models unless you get into Fashion Nova, which is another place that I love to shop, and also ASOS, and then, you know, some other stores. But when you get into like Big and Tall at JCPenney's or these other stores, you know, it's kind of like everything is like yuck. Like the clothing and the designs are so yuck. They're basic. I mean, basic, and you have to usually get them tailored because they're too long, they're too short, etc. But I'm going off in a tangent. This is not what I was meant to talk about. But it is, you know, about Loni, and girl, you know, I hope that Loni gets it together and, you know, does an apology if she hasn't already apologized. She just needs to, you know, kind of take ownership of this and unblock Larissa Cross. I don't know if I said her name right. Loni, get that together, girl. get it together and unblock her. I mean, come on, we're adults and you gotta be the bigger person. Like I said, you are in the community, and if Larissa came for you, you know, in the comments and said something on Twitter, she was coming from, you know, to open your eyes about what you said and the magnitude that it affects a lot of our young girls out there that are black or in the African American community, you know, and they don't have like role models when there are role models out there that represent the plus size community. So that's the reading on Miss Loni Love, and I do like Loni. I really like her personality. I think she's funny. You know, at the end of the day, this is just my commentary, my own insights on Loni. I wish her all the best. I just hope that, you know, she can turn this into a positive at the end of the day, and I hope it doesn't affect her career going forward. You know, that's the biggest and best thing. We all have slip-ups. We all say things that we didn't mean to say, and I feel like for her, you know, this is just one of those things where the show must go on. But she needs to definitely make an apology, in my opinion. Okay, so this is the tea from Spirit for Miss Loni Love. If you like this video, please smash the like button. Also, if you have not yet joined my website, and actually it's www.raymondguzman.net. Once you're there, go ahead and scroll down. You'll see a subscribe, or you'll actually have a pop-up on the screen. It's like a white box. Enter your first name and your last name, or just your first name and your email address. So that way you can be subscribed to my website and be notified of anything else that is going on. I also, if you're not tuned in yet or haven't joined Patreon, my Patreon is www.patreon.com/Psychic Medium Ray. It's only $1.99 to join my Patreon and become a patron, and it's $1.99 a month, and I already am teaching psychic and mediumship courses online. So if you have not yet become a patron, this content will not hit YouTube. It's exclusively only available to my patrons, and along with other benefits such as access to you know, your yearly horoscopes, which I'll be working on and getting out this week, as well as you know, other classes that I'm teaching. Right now I'm teaching a lot of classes on psychic and mediumship, and I'm dishing all of that out on there, as well as access to cells. I think I mentioned that. So if you haven't, go ahead and join that. And also, if you have not followed me, because a lot of you may not be getting notifications of this video, you may have to start checking starting January 1st, depending on what's going to happen with YouTube. A lot of you may not be notified, or be notified when I go live. So check my Instagram stories. If you have Instagram, if you don't, join my email, because I'll either keep y'all informed either through email or through my Instagram stories or through my Patreon. So I love you so much. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing day. Bye.